What if I told you that the first 60 seconds decide most OpenFront games? The difference between dominating the lobby or getting wiped out early. Usually it isn't luck, it's your spawn, your attack ratio, and knowing exactly how to play the early game. Today, I'm going to show you the strategy experienced players use to consistently dominate the opening phase. This guide is aimed primarily at free-for-all, but most of these concepts also apply in teams. For optimal early growth, you only need to master two things: good spawn and a good attack ratio. If you can consistently do these two things well, you'll enter the mid game with more cities, more land, more income, and a much stronger position than everyone around you. So let's start with the most important decision you'll make before the game even begins: where you spawn. OpenFront's a snowball game. Every extra city, every extra nation, every extra piece of land creates more troops, more income, and more opportunities later in the match. Your objective during the opening isn't simply to survive, it's to build the strongest economy possible before the players start fighting each other. The player with the strongest economy usually controls the pace of the rest of the game. That's why your opening matters so much. When choosing where to spawn, there are three things you should always consider: terrain, nations, and nearby players. Rule 1. Terrain. Not all terrain is equal. Grasslands and plains, the green and yellow terrain, allow your attacks to travel much faster than mountainous white terrain. Faster attacks mean faster expansion. Faster expansion means more land. More land becomes more cities, and more cities becomes more troops. Whenever possible, choose greener terrain over mountains. Those faster attack speeds add up throughout the opening and can create a huge advantage before the tribe phase is even over. Rule number 2, nations. Next, look for nations. This is one of the biggest differences between a decent spawn and an amazing spawn. Areas with lots of nearby nations usually become some of the strongest starting locations because they contain additional cities. Your goal isn't simply to capture land, it's to maximize your early city count. The more cities you own, the faster your economy grows. Think of nations as free investments. The earlier you conquer them, the stronger the snowball becomes. Now here's one mistake I see almost every new player make. Do not ally nations. Seriously. Unless you have a very specific strategy later in the game, there's almost never a good reason to ally nations during your opening. When you ally a nation, you can't attack them until the 5-minute alliance timer expires without a betrayal debuff. That means all that free land, all those free cities, and all that extra troop production are locked away while everyone else continues expanding. I've seen players completely throw away winning positions simply because they allied the nations around them. Remember, nations are free expansion. They're not your teammates. Capture them early, convert those cities into your economy, and keep your snowball rolling. If you ally one, you're only slowing your own growth. Don't make that mistake. Rule number 3, nearby players. Finally, look at where everyone else spawned. Many new players think spawning close to lots of people is a good thing. Usually, it isn't. Too many nearby players means less room to expand, more early fights, and fewer nations you'll be able to conquer before somebody else gets there. I'd much rather have 2 neighbors and unlimited room to grow than 8 neighbors all fighting over the same territory. A larger, uncontested landmass allows you to create a much stronger economy before the real wars begin. You play the same maps often, it's worth learning 2 or 3 spawn locations on every map. Knowing where to spawn consistently is one of the easiest ways to improve your win rate. Now let's talk about the mechanic that wins games. Your early game efficiency. There are 3 key components to dominating the tribe phase: attack ratio, attack pattern, and infrastructure. Let's start with attack ratio. Your attack ratio has one job: expand as quickly as possible while preserving enough troops to continue snowballing. There are 2 ways to approach this. On smaller or compact maps, you can often use the same attack ratio throughout the entire tribe phase. On larger maps, I recommend starting with a higher attack ratio, then gradually lowering it as you eliminate more tribes. Here's the exact opening I use every game. Start with your attack ratio set to 12%. Immediately send your first expansion wave. Wait about 2 seconds, then send another 12% attack. And continue clicking every 2 seconds until you've expanded into all the free land around your spawn. Once you've fully expanded, increase your attack ratio to 60%. Use that for your first tribe attack. Once the first tribe has been eliminated, lower your ratio to 50% for the second tribe. After the second tribe is gone, drop it to 40. For the third, drop it to 30. From that point forward, stay at 30% for the remainder of the tribe phase. Attack every time your troop growth turns orange. That orange indicator tells you your troop growth is beginning to slow down. Instead of letting troops sit there doing nothing, send another attack. Keep your expansion moving. When attacking tribes, always try to attack with at least double the number of troops they currently have. Doing this almost guarantees you'll conquer them on the first attempt, giving you more land and, more importantly, more gold. Attack pattern. Your attack pattern is just as important as your attack ratio. Always prioritize tribes that are already attacking another tribe or expanding into free land. They've already committed troops elsewhere, making them much easier to eliminate. Whenever possible, look for annexations. Instead of attacking straight through the middle, surround the tribe. Once it's completely enclosed, you can instantly annex all of its remaining territory with little to no troops. Saves troops, captures land faster, and is one of the biggest differences between average players and experienced players. While clearing tribes, always think about positioning. Try to create an ocean connection whenever possible. This opens access to more land and future trading opportunities. At the same time, look for chances to block off nearby players. The less room they have to expand, the more land becomes available for you. Infrastructure. Your goal is simple. Build 3 cities as early as possible. Your first city should be built at 125,000 gold. Your second at 250,000. Your third at 500,000. These are the most cost-efficient city purchases in the game. After that, every city costs 1 million gold. So getting these first 3 built quickly is one of the biggest boosts you can give your economy. During the tribe phase, never build anything except cities. Don't build factories, don't build ports. The only exception is defense posts, and only if another player is clearly preparing to attack you. Every other dollar should be invested into cities so your economy snowballs as quickly as possible. Now let's talk about one of the easiest ways to gain free land that most players completely ignore. 1% boats. If you spawn on a map with rivers, lakes, or coastlines, start sending 1% troop boats whenever you have the opportunity. These boats cost almost nothing. If they get destroyed, you've barely lost any troops, but if they make it through, they can open entirely new expansion routes that nobody else has reached yet. Sometimes a single 1% boat can give you access to more tribes before another player even realizes they're available. Not only does this increase your total land, it also gives you more room to build your economy and reach additional nations. You see water, use it. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is fighting players too early. Just because someone spawned next to you doesn't mean that they're your first target. Your priority should always be expand, eliminate tribes, build cities. Once you've built a strong foundation, only then should you start looking for player eliminations. When choosing a target, look for players who are already losing. Maybe they've been fighting someone else, maybe they expanded too aggressively. Maybe they're about the same strength as other surrounding nations. These are the players you want. Before attacking, let your army build to around 50% troop cap. Then launch an 80% attack to overwhelm them quickly. The goal isn't to start a long war. It's to eliminate them before they have time to recover. Quick wars are profitable. Long wars usually leave both players weak, while someone else becomes the strongest player on the map. No strategy works exactly the same every game. The best players don't follow a script. They adapt. On smaller maps, you'll usually need to fight players earlier. On maps packed with tribes, you'll spend longer building your economy before fighting. The map is crowded, focus on protecting your army while expanding efficiently. If the map is open, be greedy. Claim as much land as possible before anyone else can. Every game is different. Learning how to adapt is what separates experienced players from everyone else. Let's recap the mistakes I see most often. Spawning in mountains when better terrain is available. Allying nations during the opening. Building factories or ports before your first 3 cities. Attacking tribes with too few troops. Ignoring annexations. Ignoring rivers and water expansion. And sending huge attacks over and over instead of managing your attack ratio. Avoid those mistakes and you'll already be ahead of most of the lobby. The early game is where OpenFront is won. If you consistently choose good spawns, manage your attack ratio, clear tribes efficiently, maximize your city count, and avoid the common beginner mistakes, you'll find yourself winning far more often. Remember, the goal isn't to just survive. The goal is to build an economy and a troop count that's impossible for everyone else to catch. If this guide helped you, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you want to improve your OpenFront gameplay, and let me know down in the comments what guide you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.